Preparing live stream.
I was preparing. Just go.
Setting up your meeting.
Live streamed.
There's no sneaking Aaron into this one since we show him right away.
I can hide.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right, guys.
Yeah.
I'll do the lead in and we'll get ready to rock.
Works for this guy.
Nice. Welcome to episode 60 of the Thrash Report. This is for August 31st, 2021. My name is Chris. This is your weekly music commentary podcast where we discuss all things metal and heavy music. Joining me as always, my co-host, Jim Osborne. Jim, what's going on this fine Tuesday?
I'm going to write a limerick, as my wit is quite quick. Will it be funny? Will it make me money? My middle name is Richard. Yeah.
You never rest. Hey, Jim, we got
Yes,
a very special guest.
We
this
do.
week.
Yep, as you saw, we released yesterday some social media posts, and friend of the show and pit crew member, all around metalhead, Mr. Aaron, aka Duke Tomato, aka Radical Larry. How you doing, man?
Gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to be here tonight with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It's always fun to talk to other metal nerds like us. So.
Heck yeah. One of the first things I need to ask is we really got to figure out your naming here. I got to figure out. At first, I didn't know. What is your? Is it Larry? Is it Aaron? I was confused.
Well, my real name's Aaron, and probably get some entertainment. My last name is Moody, as in Moody person. And then my nickname for I swear the last 10 years has been Radical Larry. And I just saw a picture on the internet. It was a black and white photo of like some kids, and it gave them nicknames and special powers. And one of those kids in particular, his name was Radical Larry. And I just busted my shit laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And so I put Radical Larry as my Twitter name. And then I just started showing up places and people just started calling me Radical Larry.
That's awesome.
Purely organic from that sense.
It's very cool. I mean, you need to brand that, man. We gotta get a logo for you and sell t-shirts and shit. It'll be great.
I'm in.
And then what about the other one? First way I knew you was as Duke Tomato.
Duke Tomato. Duke Tomato was just another name that made me laugh. He's a comedic songwriter that I heard about on the Bob and Tom show. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that.
Yep.
And I just started messing around and put Duke Tomato as my handle from time to time. And of course, when you play Into the Trivia Pit, your handle pops up, not your display name. And so, of course, it just says Duke Tomato.
That's awesome.
All right. So I guess before we get to some of that, we always ask our guests. So we have to ask you the golden question. What got you into metal?
I'll categorize this in like a pre and post. And you'll understand why I say that here. So it started growing up, like most people my age and everything, introduced rock radio by their dads. 7, 8 years old, the two that stood out to me, the first time I gravitated to a song and said, wow, I love that, was Crazy Train and TNT by AC/DC.
Nice.
Those were the two songs that I immediately remembered, as I'm learning my lefts and my rights and all that other fun stuff. So then it kind of developed from there. I get a little bit older. I get Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I get introduced to some punk rock and some classic rock on the soundtrack. Then, like many other guys my age, the older brother steps in, and the older brother introduces me to Korn and Slipknot and Limp Bizkit. And so at this point, I'm kind of growing from that. It's hard rock. It's a lot of new metal. I actually remember when my half brother was staying with us one summer. We shared the bedroom, and it got to the point where he was bullying me, as brothers do. And he throws on MTV, and Linkin Park, One Step Closer comes on, and I'm trying to sleep, and I hear it and I like it. And I lift my head up to, watch the video with him, and he's pissed at me. He goes, you don't deserve to listen to this. Go back to sleep. You suck. And, but like, that's how, I'm building my taste through that. A lot of new metal, a lot of hard rock, stuff like that. Sum 41 came out. That was my first album I've ever had, was All Killer, No Filler. And then it grew to, we'll fast forward to about high school, and I'm listening to hard rock, we'll think more like Octane on Sirius XM. And I went to a rural high school, so it's a lot of country music. And everybody would start saying, like, Moody, you listen to that Satan shit, that screamo shit.
Right.
And I'm going, at that time I didn't like, scream vocals. It wasn't for me. But they're like, Moody, you like that devil shit. You do. I'm like, damn it, no. And then I get a little bit older. I'm like, you know what? Screw you guys. I do like it. Let's see what it's about. And, you throw on, you hear about Slayer, you hear about Megadeth, you hear about Metallica, and you're like, yeah, I'm cool. I listen to this now.
Yep.
So that's when I started to dip my toe into something heavier. Then the defining moment to where I am today and on this podcast with you guys was, there was nothing on Octane. There was nothing on terrestrial radio or FM radio in my local area. So I threw on liquid metal because I knew occasionally they threw on some Metallica. And it just so happened that a little game show called Into the Trivia Pit was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I love me some trivia. When I first listened to it, I didn't know a single question. I didn't know a single riff. I didn't know a single lyric, way over my head. But I thought Jose was hilarious. Sean was hilarious. The audio clips were hilarious. So I became a routine listener. And then I became a student of heavy metal because I wanted to, compete listening in my headphones, every week. So I started, I studied up on my Slayer, the big four.
Yep.
And I got in, and then suddenly, it just catches on. I get really into it because, you only hear about Slayer through memes or, it's not commercial, but, it's the most widely known, heavy band aside from Metallica. And so you have all these, preconceived notions that it is that devil shit and it's just the whole time. And then I remember specifically, Sean played Dead Skin Mask. Mm-hmm. And I heard that riff and I go, oh my God, that is amazing. Dive in head first. And I'm checking out Slayer and I'm going there from Slayer to Testament and Exodus and then Creator, and now I found myself gravitating towards a lot of thrash.
Yep.
So to get here, it was all because of Into the Trivia Pit.
So when did you start listening to that? Like how many episodes in about were they, do you know?
It was like not the earliest, but I want to say they had been doing it a little bit. I can't put a ballpark guess on time, but they kind of had their rhythm. They knew their structure, and they're still changing the rules.
Well, that's what they do every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I started, I think, in 2016, and they were probably 40 or 50 episodes in. So
that sounds about right for me too.
Yeah, so let's stick with some Into the Trivia Pit, and I've got a trivia question for you since you brought up Dead Skin Mask. So you know who it's about, right? Ed
Gein?
Yep. Do you know where he died?
Died? Did he?
Or
I know he's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Milwaukee?
No, I guess he died in prison, I guess. I forget where he's in prison, but he lived in Plainview. So he's like, for people listening or watching, Aaron's from the Green Bay area. I'm in La Crosse. We're kind of opposite side of the states. And Ed Gein lived like halfway between us.
Righteous.
Yeah, he did all his crimes up in Plainview, over like west of Wausau.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. That's literally straight west of me.
Yep. And I've probably mentioned it here before too, but he was actually born in La Crosse. So I got to do some history searching and see if I can trace where he lived or something.
Serial killers in football. That's what Wisconsin does.
Yep. Some cheese too.
Cheese, Spearson, bratwurst.
Yeah. So that's how I became to know who you are is through the Into the Trivia Pit live last year during the pandemic when they had on their Instagram page. That was, I love the show. You know me, I love Into the Trivia Pit, but when they went live on Instagram, that was just another level. It didn't have a lot of the same stuff like you were saying, the sound bites and a lot of that stuff, but just all the interaction was just so much fun.
It really grew the community massively. Going to Instagram was, I think, the best thing that could have happened to the show because, here we are, a direct result from it.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. Metal brings people together, man.
Damn right.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were always one of the ones answering very quickly. So I was curious how you did that. Were you using your phone and like thumbing it in, or did you have a keyboard?
Phone. I'm a very good typer to begin with. I'm like 105 words per minute. But now the trick is I wouldn't answer if I didn't know it. So there'd be stretches where I'd be radio silent, or if I'd throw in and I'd say, man, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
But
I'm super self-conscious of it. Even if I think I would know, it was just like, I don't want to lose my metal cred, man.
Same. Bill's been trying to get me to call back in, and I'm going, I kind of want to study a lot more. I'm scared shitless.
Yeah, I was using my Chromebook, so I'd have a keyboard because if I'm all thumbs, it would be all punctuation be all off, and they'd yell at me for that shit.
I couldn't believe. I think I've talked about this on another episode, but I couldn't believe how good the people were on the Megadeth trivia on the Mega Cruise.
Yep.
Because they would play. They would play a fraction of a second of a chord, and people would know the song. Like, it was incredible. Their brains at a different level, man.
Yeah, and I knew a lot of the answers, but there was some that I didn't. So just me being the goofy guy I am, I'll just say something stupid and try to get a laugh. So
yeah.
Heck, you guys listen to the show. I can't remember shit.
Can you repeat that? Yeah, and then you were actually a contestant, right? Not like right when I started going live again?
Yeah, I called right before Christmas, and it was I didn't realize it was going to be Christmas themed, and I am dog shit at their theme episodes, so I was panicking like crazy. I did okay with the trivia questions. I didn't know Kerry King bred snakes, I guess dogs. And then I saw later on down the line he does breed dogs too, but obviously that wasn't the answer they were looking for. Thankfully for my my Pantera demo question and my Danish King Diamond.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I made it to riffs, and I knew every band except initially the Pantera one, because all I could hear was like a bass line over the phone, and it sounded like Faith No More. And I was like, but knowing the bands, that doesn't get you shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually one of our listeners, Doug, who's actually in our chat right now on YouTube, I think, Doug, you were the first one when it went live again, weren't you?
I remember that because you texted Jose, I think, and said, I vouch for him. This guy's legit.
Yeah, I texted Sean because Doug had just won our trivia contest on the Thrash Report. So I texted Sean and said, this he knows his shit. So.
Yep. And that's the crazy thing, because you could know the ins and outs of everything. Everything Big Four and, the Sepultura, the Pantera. And then all they got to do is just throw some one-off Iron Maiden question or a Priest or something. And you're like, oh my God, you can get back to back, just 2 questions out of your infinite knowledge. And you're sweating bullets. Another Megadeth pun.
Nice.
Yeah, like you were saying too about the metal community, metal family that's come out of it. A lot of the people that listen to this podcast are friends I've made on, Twitter, following Into the Trivia Pit, and I don't know, it's just amazing. I think I've said here before too that I started a Twitter account in like 2016, 2017, and just started subscribing to news outlets just to kind of from left, center, just everything's just kind of stay up on current events and stuff. But then I started seeing metal people, and I don't even see news on there anymore. And like I'm all metal Twitter. So
Good.
yeah. I have like private conversations with people that I've never met before, and feel like you know them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else you got going on? I know you do some podcasting on your own, or
Yeah. So, if we want to go chronologically, two of my best friends, football coaches and football players, and I think they're pretty sharp. They know their shit. And last year, during week one, we had a Twitter account for their brand, and they tweeted out their picks. And they had a great week one NFL. And I said, that's it, guys. You need to start a podcast. I'll produce your podcast. You just talking to the goddamn microphones, and I'll handle the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started, it's the Gridiron Lounge podcast. And it's just, it's football, it's whiskey, it's cigars.
Nice.
These guys fancy themselves gentlemen, but they're, just a couple of putzes. They talk about the cigars they've had. I don't smoke cigar. I mean, I'll have one, but I don't know shit about cigars. I like to have some whiskey. So, we'll talk about the new whiskeys we've tried, and then they'll chop it up about, during the regular season, talk about the games, key takeaways. My best friend, Andrew, he's phenomenal at fantasy, and he'll drop his fantasy wisdom. And then my other friend, Sherfy, he's the gambler. And so he'll give his gambling picks. And, that kind of just evolved and through our schedules, I've had to hop on a couple of episodes too, because life happens. We all can't meet up on the same schedule.
Yep.
And then I've always wanted my own podcast as well. And thanks to you guys, it, gave me the balls to, I was fighting that burp. I couldn't hold it.
I want those balls back, by the way.
But do my own music stuff with my girlfriend, Danny.
That's awesome.
And so we started it called Everything and Nothing, because we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves to strictly metal.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we want to talk about anything else that would come up. And so we started although so far it's kind of just been strictly metal, just talking about, what we like in music, and then a lot of hypotheticals. We did pick our dream band, thinking of like, make your dream tour, stuff like that. Metal movies we liked. But, I play baseball in the summer, and my summer league was taking up just about every weeknight I had. Danny's in grad school getting her master's. So, we had no nights where we were both available. So we kind of had to shelf that until our time freed up a little bit.
Sure.
And then after that, we were talking about this earlier. I went to college to be a sports writer. I was missing the itch working a 9-to-5 cube job. And I saw this blog around the block said they were looking for writers, and DM us. And I said, hey, I love the Lions. I love the Tigers. I love heavy metal. Can I write about this? And they said, here, why don't you write about the Tigers? You can run our Tigers division, and then whatever metal blogs you want to submit when you can.
That's awesome.
So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. And I've listened to Everything and Nothing once or twice. And I did read one of your articles. It's well written. It's really cool.
Thank you. We're trying to find our groove, in the podcast chemistry for that, which hopefully it'll come, but thank you for listening.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for listening to ours. We appreciate all of you listeners.
Yeah, we'll make sure we put all the links to those too. We'll put links and other information in the show notes. So make sure you check that out at thrashreport.com.
Perfect.
And then have you guys tried the I know you mentioned, Aaron, you mentioned whiskey. Have you tried the Anthrax Evil Twin the double cask rye whiskey?
I haven't had a chance to try any music related alcohol. I actually submitted name 3 artists that have their own alcohol for trivia, but I've been dying to get my hands on some of it.
I've had a couple bottles of the Blackened, Metallica's whiskey. It's pretty good. I mean, it's awesome because it's got Metallica's name on the bottle, but taste wise, it's nothing super. But I want to see what you think about Jim Beam Black.
I haven't had Jim Beam Black.
Ooh. Best for the money. It's it's like $22 for a 750. So it's not too expensive, but for the price, the taste is superior. So that's my go-to. So speaking of football, I got to ask you, because we've gone back and forth a little bit about our teams, me being a Vikings fan and you being a Lions fan. What are they up to this year? You think they're going to be any good with their new quarterback?
Going into the preseason, I thought, I said, because Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback. He is a serviceable NFL quarterback. He has earned money. He has had a couple very good seasons, went to a Super Bowl. So I figured the Lions would be just fine in that regard. Plus, they really stabilized their offensive line. So I thought with a good quarterback, a good offensive line, and two weapons in Hawkinson and Swift, they would be able to go for about 8 wins. However,
like twice as good as normal.
They are, However, they are still the Lions, and they are still proving they are the Lions in preseason. And my offensive line has yet to gel, so I'm going to be eating these words, it looks like, here shortly.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm pulling for the Vikings, obviously, but I don't know. I don't get too excited because they always let us down, and I know it's just a game. So, all right. So we do have a kind of a normal show to go through as well. But before we get to that, I'm just curious, who are your favorite bands?
Oh, all right. So my favorite band, hands down, is Parkway Drive. Wearing my Parkway Drive shirt. And I kind of don't know where I want to cap off. I usually like to do things like a Mount Rushmore and pick 4, but my 5 just that always have a seat at the dinner table are Parkway Drive, Megadeth, Pantera, Beartooth, and Avatar. And I've got my pixelated Avatar painting behind me over there. Those are my 5 bread and butter every day of the week. I will always make time for them.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much Beartooth outside of what they play on Liquid Metal with that Bad Listener song. God damn, that is good.
Yeah, I love them. I think Body Bag on their first album is just as good as a hardcore song can get. But other than that, massive Slayer fan, massive Metallica fan, love Testament, a lot of thrash. Christ, now, name your favorite bands and they're all escaping you.
Right. Yeah. There's I saw, so Avatar, the first, I was introduced to them at one of the rock fests in Cadat.
Yeah.
They were playing, and just absolutely blew me away. And I was a fan. Like, it just, they stole the show, right? It was pretty crazy that day. And then it was actually funny. So Parkway Drive, before, I didn't even know who they were. And the kids and I, a few years ago, we went down to one of the, my opinion, one of the best places on the planet Earth is Universal Orlando Resort down in Florida. And we always stay at the Hard Rock Hotel on site because it's the Hard Rock and it's awesome. And every member that works there, they have their name tag. And underneath their name tag, they put like a band or something they like, or you know what I mean? Like, and one of the guys that checked us in, it said Parkway Drive on his name badge and on his name tag. And I'm like, who's that? And he goes, oh, it's this band, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I was like, interesting. And I didn't even, until I got back from vacation where I'm like, look these guys up. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
And I remember, I didn't know them much until a couple years ago, but I remember, Chris, when we met at that Anthrax show, I remember there's a guy standing in line right next to us with a huge Parkway Drive tattoo on his arm. I'm like,
oh, really?
Yeah. I checked them out, and I like them too.
Where are they from?
Good.
Australia. Byron Bay.
Yeah, they're hooky, man. They're good.
Cool.
So. Yeah, they became my favorite, like hands down. Fairly recently, actually. I saw them with they were headlining with Killswitch Engage, and they were playing at the Rave.
Oh, I love the Rave. Great venue.
Yep, right across the street from where Jeffrey Dahmer used to harvest organs. No joke.
Really?
Festival Foods?
But they were, I remember it was a vein had opened up, and then it was after the burial, and then Parkway Drive came on, and it was just, I was already in love, and I was like, all right, that's it. Number one, put them up top. But it was phenomenal.
So, hey, Aaron, do you know why they are called Parkway Drive? And this comes from our live chat.
I don't think I do.
It's Mr. Bill Joya trying to stump you.
God damn it, Bill.
Of course it's Bill.
I mean, if I'm going to take an educated guess, I'm guessing they grew up on Parkway Drive in Byron Bay.
Maybe. Hey, I got a really serious question though for you guys. Why do we park in a driveway and drive in a parkway? That's what I don't quite get. Oh.
One of those things, man.
Anyway. Cool, man. Well, let's so Aaron, let's stick around and we'll start talking about some of these next news stories coming up, and we got some a new release, and then we jump back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so headlines, Chris mentioned it briefly last week, but there was an article that just came out not too long ago, The Beautiful World of Heavy Metal, and it's this guy talking a lot about his experiences as a metalhead, and which kind of is in line with metalheads in general. And it's kind of talks about how cool metalheads are, we have our own community. There's not a lot of genres that have the type of family aesthetic that we do. And, it takes people from all backgrounds. You obviously you can see people like me wearing an Onslaught shirt and like, oh yeah, he's a metalhead, but then there's, some dude walking down in a suit, looks like a stick up his ass, and find out he's a huge Slayer fan or something. But so just cool that all backgrounds come together, and a lot of times it's like outcasts or misfits. And, I kind of felt that way too. I had a lot of friends growing up and stuff, but I never had like a core group for a long time. I just kind of bounced around a bunch of different groups. And so I kind of get that outsider feeling, and then coming into metalhead, to being a metalhead, and just, like I said, that community. And it talks a lot about the bad rap that metal gets because of its image, lyrics, and the whole satanic panic of the 80s, early 90s, and the Columbine being blamed on Marilyn Manson and shit like that. And Philly Byrne, the lead singer from Gamma Bomb, he was quoted in and said, "The thing I say is that metalheads in reality are librarians. There are things you can just be into, and that's fine. With dance music, it's fine to just be into it, but with metal, it's expected that you'll know lots and lots. You'll have knowledge and experience. You'll collect old LPs. You'll get patches on your jacket. It's more like real ale fans or cinema nerds, and it's quite dadly. They have a soft edge to them." So we can put that link in our notes, but just a really cool article. It was pretty spot on, I think.
And that's the thing. It's like when you go to a metal show, or when you're around these metal fans, there's a level of camaraderie, respect, and you have this commonality where you can get along, right? And and again, we talk about this all the time too. You're out in public, and if you see someone wearing a Parkway Drive shirt, you're gonna throw them the horns or give them a nod, right? I mean, that's what we do.
Funny you just mentioned that. On Dimebag's birthday, I had just buzzed to Walmart, and I'm getting out of my truck, and I see a guy walking past me wearing a Dimebag Daryl Abbott shirt.
Nice.
And I just go, "Happy Dime Day!"
Yep. Yep.
Throw him right back at me.
That's right. That's right.
Perfect. So we did get an answer from Bill about Parkway Drive, and you were close. But he says it's named after the street where their home rehearsal space and live venue, the Parkway House, was located.
There we go.
Even surgeons know metal.
He's going to hold that over my head now. That he knew more about my favorite band than I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this next one is kind of a little bit of a feel-good story. So we know that Ivan Moody, again, no relation to Aaron Moody, I don't think.
Not yet.
So Ivan Moody, he actually has his own brand, Moody's Medicinals, sells a line of CBD products. And basically, he has really been paying it forward by donating 3 separate $10,000 donations to different charity organizations. And it's just a really great story. So he was running a sale where it started last month, in which the goal in mind was to donate a portion of the proceeds to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Again, great charity. They do excellent work. I definitely stand behind it. And the promotion was that, they were going to match the buyer's purchases. And so he went ahead and did that. So for example, someone would buy something and then they would get something for free, and then he would match that to the charity. Well, it certainly got people's attention because it went nuts. And so he raised $10,000 for St. Jude's, but then he was so inspired, they just kept on going. And so they did another $10,000 donation to the Food Recovery Network, and then another $10,000 to the skateboarding program. And so I just think it's really cool that, you can still give back, right? And when you start, when we have those causes that we really feel strongly about, that you can absolutely make a difference. So I just thought it was a really cool story. Not really music related, but again, horns up and good job to Ivan Moody and Moody's Medicinals. Again, this was all donated not via Five Finger Death Punch. This was donated via Moody's Medicinals, just to be clear. So yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He seems to have really been focusing on giving back and being a better person ever since he got clean.
Oh, totally. Totally, absolutely. And I'm a huge Five Finger fan, and seeing him so many times, I don't even remember. But after going through treatment and being clean, I really feel as though his performance is better too, right? Like he seems, it's awesome. So
all you haters out there, go see him live. It's an actually phenomenal show. It's a fun show too.
Great show. Absolutely.
Speaking of haters, I was thinking about this last night when someone mentioned Nickelback, and I've probably heard a bunch of their songs, but I wouldn't know it because I've never tried to listen to them or anything, but they've sold a shit ton of music and everybody hates them.
Right.
I don't get it. So if someone can explain to me why everybody hates them, or is it like a jealousy thing? Like, why the hell are you guys so good and making all this money and selling all these records?
It's because the internet told them to.
That's right.
Now,
we're on the internet.
Nickelback got on pop radio does suck, but they've got riffs, they've got jams.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, I'll have to give them a listen. I'll probably.
What's the song again? I'm not a Nickelback fan, but I mean, there was a song that, God, it was pretty good, and I liked the fact that it made like the hair on the back of my neck stand up, because it was like about the chick that was getting beat, and she goes and gets a gun. And what's that?
Never Again.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was like, yeah, man, powerful song, absolutely.
I mean, Dimebag did a solo for them on Side of a Bullet too.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, yeah, I just found that out on Dime Day last week. Yeah, that's cool.
Did not know that. This next article I wanted to talk about, it's just in the aftermath of the handful of shows that Korn had canceled / postponed because Jonathan Davis tested positive for COVID-19. And they actually brought up that there now has been some shows where Jonathan Davis is actually doing this show sitting down. And it actually reminded me of shows in the past. I saw a show, I think it was Metallica and Suicidal, where Mike Muir had a cast on his leg and he did some of the show sitting on a sofa. But yeah, so basically they Head from Korn goes in to talk about how Jonathan is really still struggling with the after effects of COVID, and he's both physically weak. He's also kind of has this mental battle, right? I know a lot of people say that once you have it, you're kind of in this fog. But yeah, just saying that he's still trying to give as much as he can and really have the energy, but sometimes he actually does need to kind of rest and sit down. And so on stage last week in Illinois, he made it clear to the audience, excuse me, that he's feeling fucking very weak, but I'm fucking refuse to cancel the show, he said. So he had to come out here and do this, even though he was sitting down. And I'm actually I'm torn with this, right? Like, I get what he's trying to do for the fans, and I get what he's trying to do. Like, you know, I'm not gonna cancel these shows. COVID's not gonna do this to me, right? But also, as a fan, I feel as though also, wouldn't you want the band to give it their absolute best? You know what I mean? Like, if you're still, I don't know, I'm torn, right? Like, how many shows do you cancel / postpone to truly get back to where you could give 100%? Or do you do that show where you're kind of half-assed? Like Jim, we talked about when Machine Head came through and they canceled the Minneapolis show last time. There was people that went to like the Chicago show or Milwaukee show and said that it just wasn't the same because you could tell that you know, that Rob Flynn was sick, right? So I don't know. I just kind of wonder. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I don't know. I think this is one of those things where you kind of pick a side, and the sides are going to be even. There's going to be a ton of people saying each, but I personally would rather have them cancel or postpone and come back and give it their all than to see him sitting up there in a chair.
You know, I think logically speaking, that's just the best for both sides. But I'm processing this right now, and my thought was I find it a little bit admirable that of the circumstances. And when he said, you know, guys, I am wiped, but I'm not going to cancel on you guys. You know, that kind of tells me he could be lying, but that tells me like I'm not mailing it in. You know, I'm out here for you guys. I'm out here because I'm passionate about this. You know, it's not like it's Vince Neil up there wheezing for a paycheck.
Right.
So because of that, I'm thinking, and I'm hoping, you know, if the crowd hears that, you know, in some way the crowd can be uplifting with him, sing along with the songs, join in, provide that energy that he doesn't have. But, you know, that's just, you know, this one-off scenario because, you know, his health is devastating him right now, something that was out of his control.
Right.
But
see, it's like I said, it's a sided issue, and
we're
yeah.
50-50.
No, it's great hearing you guys talk about it. I think it's just interesting, right?
Yeah, so that's my opinion, but I honestly, if I was big fan of the band, I'd probably go either way.
Logistically speaking, though, it would make sense to be like, guys, I am just going to not sound good at all.
Right.
Maybe it could be a hologram. He could be off on the side of the stage singing, but his hologram could be out there jumping around in a kilt.
Which, by the way, I did see Korn, and man, they put on a great live show. Man.
Yeah, I've seen them twice, and it's phenomenal.
That's awesome. So, guys, that kind of sums up some of the news. Let's jump into some new releases. Jim, what are we talking about, man?
Yeah, so I have mentioned many times on here about the band Agony Reigns from the Twin Cities. And last Friday, they released a single called Necrosis from their upcoming album, The Tragedy in Understanding Nothing, which will be out November 13th this year. And to me, it sounds a little more Blackened thrash than straight up thrash like I've heard from them before. But it's awesome. I mean, they stepped it up. They've put out a lot of posts saying how hard they're working, and, you know, guys, hang out, we'll be back, and, you know, hope you like all the stuff we've been working on. Can't wait to show you. And this is their first release of new stuff, besides they've done some live stuff on their live stream, I think. But killer song. I mean, vocals are cool. Jake's solo is awesome. The backing vocals are great. The drumming, just everything. So Agony Reigns, Necrosis. Check that out.
Cool, man. Will do. And that's from, so they did mention that they're going to have a new album out November?
Yep, November 13th is what they said.
Awesome.
So if the rest of it's like this, the frontman Matt sent me a message, or I sent him a message saying how much I liked it, and he responded saying, you know, we got some thrashers on there for you too. So
cool.
So it sounds like it might be a fairly diverse album, which would be cool to see what they do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this next one, those of you that listen know that we do have the wiener that sometimes contributes. And he actually sent me this next one. What are we talking about?
Yeah, we mentioned, I think they released a single a few weeks ago we talked about, but from Wisconsin, Toxic Ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. Really good, man.
Nightmare Eclipse came out last Friday.
I checked this one out as well.
What'd you think?
Heavy.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, and again, I think this is a step up from previous releases too. And I saw them live here in La Crosse, must have been 2 years ago now, and I don't remember it sounding this good. I mean, I enjoyed the show because it was thrash and their local band, and that's really cool. But yeah, this front to back, this one's great. And then I find myself being drawn to instrumentals a little more than I used to. I've always liked them, but I don't know. I think the best song in this one is "It of the Horrid Storm." "It of the Horrid Storm," I think is the instrumental on here, and I just love it.
Awesome. Cool, man. I will, like I said, I got this one too. Great stuff. Absolutely. And I'm going to sneak in one that I didn't have in here. And I just want to mention, we've talked about in the past, that, KK Downing from Judas Priest, he's going to have his solo effort called KK's Priest drop coming up later this year. And, it has Tim the Ripper Owens on vocals, right? Mm-hmm. And they dropped another new single. So now they have 4 singles out prior to the album release, but they dropped another single called Raise Your Fists. And again, it's fun because it's all about live shows. It's all about that energy and the fans and on the stage and the crowd. And it's super fun. But like some of the other tracks that have been released so far, it is kind of generic, right? Like it's got that same kind of formula. And but you know what? I'm a huge Ripper fan. I think KK is awesome, and so I'm really looking forward to this full release. And go check out. And again, we'll have links to it. Raise Your Fists from KK's Priest.
And Aaron, you brought one too. What do you got?
Yes, this album is kind of just completely taken over metal Twitter. I'm sure, if you listen to this show, you might have already checked it out. It's Hooded Menace, new album, Tritonus Bell. I had never heard of Hooded Menace at all until the album came out. I saw Twitter blowing up about it. I checked it out. Death Doom, but I think it's got some great thrash punch to it. My favorite song is Blood Ornaments, and I can't speak highly enough about Blood Ornaments. It smacks all of the ass. It's got great riffs, great chug, great Doom-esque bass. Like from Doom 2, the Hangar 8 team cover, it's got that type of bass line punch to it. I just think it's awesome. So Hooded Menace, check it out.
Very cool. Yeah, I discovered that from your tweet. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for bringing that. So what do we got next, Chris?
Where are we? Hey, you know what? We're going to jump into.
I put you on the spot.
No, that's all right. I was actually looking up Hooded Menace. I was going to try to see where they were from. Anyway, so let's go ahead and look at some concert calendars coming up. What do we got?
Yeah, I don't have specific dates or locations, but Extinction AD, who I've talked about on here a bunch before, the New York Thrash, they keep adding dates. I know they had some like Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, that area, but they just announced yesterday, I think, that they're going to the Pacific Northwest. So they're getting busy, which is good, and they keep adding dates. So Extinction AD, go check their socials. They're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram. And side note, as I mentioned before, they have a podcast called It's Go Time, You Asshole. So go check that out too. They're only like 15 minutes long. It's just them drinking energy drinks and giving each other shit. It's pretty funny. And today was a don't know, made me very happy seeing this, but Winona Metal Fest 11. So I saw last year's was canceled, obviously, but so October 29th, Halloween weekend in Winona, Minnesota. Got Reaping Asmodea, Descent of Man, Gorgatron, Virulent Excision, and Agony Reigns.
Nice.
I will be there.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think Reaping Asmodea, I heard, has Metal Ferg, one of our guests from last winter or spring. He told me that Reaping Asmodea has some members from La Crosse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
And I've heard some of them. They kind of remind me a little bit of, and they're actually on tour with Allegiant. So they're kind of like that progressive, but super heavy.
Cool.
Yeah. Check out all those bands.
Yeah, I got on the verified fan list to get my ticket on September 8th for the December 27th show of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Again, I'm kind of totally gullible when it comes to that just rock opera. I started, I don't know how many years ago, and once you see them live, it's just absolutely a spectacle. I mean, it has fire and lasers and lights and metal, and it's super fun. And last year it was all streaming. So this year they're back to live. They're going to be in St. Paul at the Excel Center, and so I'm going to get my tickets to go see that live. Which again, it's been kind of I want to say 6 years now. It's been a Christmas tradition for my family and I. So I'm looking forward to going to that one again.
Yeah, and Aaron, you mentioned when we were talking before we started here that you have tickets to the metal tour of the summer for Minneapolis.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'll be joining you fellas.
Nice.
Up in Minneapolis. Got to go see Megadeth. I seen Megadeth again before at Rock USA, big festival in Oshkosh, which is no more. But I want to be able to, I was 80 yards back, not even more than that, probably like 100 yards back, watching Dave on a big screen way up front. So I want to get there front and center. Going to see Hatebreed again. I absolutely love Hatebreed. I'm pumped. I am pumped.
Right. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited for you to be there. I think, it's so funny. I saw a recent photo of Jamie from Hatebreed.
Yep.
And what was funny is that his beard is red. Like he looked like some sort of like Irish leprechaun or something. I don't know.
McJasta.
Still trying to grow that mullet out.
Yeah.
But again, huge Jamie Josta fan. It'll be cool to see Hatebreed.
Yep, and I've mentioned it a couple times here, but I'm gonna say it again because it's awesome the way things worked out. But the metal tour of the summer is on the September 28th in the Twin Cities. But all four of those bands will be on Knotfest 3 days prior. And my wife and I are going, so I'm going to see those bands twice in 3 days. And it's going to be awesome.
That's going to be great.
And then actually almost a week prior to that, Danny and I were going down to Chicago to see Beartooth again.
Nice.
So we're going to try and, break a couple noses.
That's awesome. Actually, and I suppose I could, in tour news, my daughter, 19, she just took her first road trip down to Milwaukee to see the Hella Mega Tour with Weezer and Green Day. So I know when I was 19, I did the same thing, right? But I was just like, just be careful. Like driving down there is the scariest part of the whole thing, man. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I drove to Milwaukee to see Maiden. I don't know how many times.
And I was actually, one of the questions I had for you, Aaron, that I forgot to write down was, what's the metal scene like in Green Bay area? Is there anything going on?
No, I'll tell you what though. It's I don't want to say it's completely non-existent. There is a bar close to downtown. I can't remember the name of it, but they do have a very underground scene. I went there one night. I saw a band called Deciphering the Zodiac, and They're very much garage stages, but they are phenomenal in the garage stages. You can find them on Apple Music, Deciphering the Zodiac. And it was brutal shit. The whole night was brutal shit. There was karate in the pit, crowd killing kids.
Dude, you know what? That's going to be the hit song, Karate in the Pit. I think that's going to be, yeah.
Oh yeah. But and it was a tiny ass hole in the wall bar. Not much of a stage, very intimate. We were on top of the band, but it was some heavy shit. So other than that, I mean, it's really, it's all cornfields up here. Not a lot for the metal scene, but
yeah,
that was a nice needle in the haystack.
Yeah, because I've talked about it before. There's a few metal bands here in La Crosse, and I know there's a bunch scattered around Wisconsin, and I've seen them advertising that they're going to play gigs up in Green Bay. So I didn't know if there's an active scene or just.
There are some pretty solid venues. I saw Hatebreed and Devil Driver, and they're Light the Torch now, but they were Devil at the Watering Hole in Green Bay, and that's a pretty solid venue for those bands. And then, Atreyu and Motionless in White at some venue, I can't remember it, right by Lambeau Field. So there are spots for these bands.
Cool.
You
know what time it is, boys? It's Miller time.
Champagne of beers. It's also a trivia time, but then looks like I'm going to turn that over to you.
Now, I can just tell that you guys are probably going to know the answer to this question. I've been submitting it, for weeks to Jose and Sean, because I just think it's cool as hell. And I think it would, it spawns a different discussion. Right before Megadeth was going to record Rust in Peace, Dave Mustaine asked 2 guitarists to join the band. Who are these guitarists?
I got it.
I know one.
Yeah, I know one.
Dimebag's
one. Wasn't Jeff Waters from Annihilator?
Yeah, he was one of them, but that wasn't the 2 I was thinking of. But you are right.
It was Dimebag Darrell, and I don't know if it fits the timeline, but I know he asked Kerry King once, and I know Kerry stepped in for 6 shows where at the beginning, but if it's not,
he did ask Kerry King, but that was earlier. Slash.
Oh shit! I did read that once. So yeah,
wasn't that? Yeah.
In fact,
I remember that from his book. Yeah.
Rust in Peace.
Yes.
Nice.
Him, Junior, well, formerly Dave Ellison. They were all.
He's still Dave Ellison.
Yeah. I meant formerly of Megadeth.
Oh, there you go.
Gotcha.
They were all. They all hung out together, and this was in 1989, I believe. So they had Appetite for Destruction that was kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
But, they felt they formed a pretty good kinship, and Dave said, "Hey, come join us," and he considered it. Guns N' Roses was blowing up, and he said, "Yeah, I'll come join you." And then I'm sure you guys know this, but Dimebag was going to join Megadeth if he would have let Vinnie Paul join too, but they had Nick Menza just take over.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Now,
yeah,
that would have been a butterfly effect.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would not have wanted to see those 2 in Megadeth just because Pantera, what happened to them, but
Yep.
But I think the Slash thing could have worked out well. It's Appetite for Symphony of Destruction.
Not bad.
Be a good mashup.
Might have been a little bit more bluesy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about the Slash one, but yeah. And it's kind of been a popular question too. I think it's come up on Trivia Pit before about Dave asking Dime.
And yeah, Kerry King is the other one that, everyone knew that one type.
Yeah. Very cool. Should we go back in time?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump back to 1989. So, Aaron, Jim, how old were you in 1989?
I was just a wet spot.
I was 10.
All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to look at this album called "Climbing the Walls" by Rathchild America. I don't think we've ever talked about this one yet. But this is a band that was formed by high school friends, And Jim, I want you to say this because you're way better than me. If you look at the notes, where are they from?
Smithtown.
No, it's Martinsburg.
Oh. See, I was just being silly. Yeah.
Oh.
Martinsburg, West. I see what you did here. By God, Virginia.
That's right. Yeah, West Virginia. Martinsburg, West Virginia. And it's crazy because they were actually formed in 1978. But the band went on to do some amazing things. And, they played shows with Slayer, Exodus, Testament, Pantera, Nuclear Assault. I mean, all these thrash bands. And around, they're actually signed by Atlantic and then dropped by Atlantic in 1992. They then changed their name to Souls at Zero. And they kind of revamped kind of like their style, their image. I don't know, because they were, again, shopping new labels. But I didn't realize that a lot of the members went on to do a bunch of other stuff. And like the drummer, Shannon Larkin, went on to be the drummer for Ugly Kid Joe, Candlebox, and is now currently the drummer for Godsmack, which I didn't know until just today when I was doing some research. But over the weekend, I listened to this again. I remember having the vinyl of this album, but Rathchild America from 1989. Go check out Climbing the Walls. It is thrashy and it's fun to listen to. It's a great kind of jump back in the day.
Is Godsmack still doing stuff?
I don't know. I think Sully's doing a solo stuff, but I don't think they actually broke up, though, did they?
They just came out with an album, I swear, like last year or the year before.
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention. So, oh, good for them if they are.
Flooded Octane and ruined it. 2018, When Legends Rise was their last release.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so we'll go back to our new segment, Today in the Day, and I'm just going to take it easy this week and reiterate to everyone to check out Agony Reigns, Toxic Ruined, Extinction AD.
Check them out.
Yeah. And getting near the end here, but we do have some follow-ups. I know last week, our show, we had the top 20 people sending their list of the top 20 greatest American bands, and I missed one on one of our sites. Our friend David Edmonds has a list, and he said it took him some serious deliberation and it was tough to figure out. He didn't use a lot of criteria and just kind of figured if he was putting together a festival bill of only American bands, who would it be? So he goes with one that I totally forgot. He's got number 20 as Guar.
Yep.
They should be on my list too.
They should have been on my list too. I know. Yeah,
amazing. And
I mean, the number of times I saw them in the 90s. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And Killswitch Engage, Deftones, Soulfly, Devil Driver, Korn, Trivium, Fear Factory, Hatebreed, Cannibal Corpse. And then his top 10 is Death, Mastodon, Lamb of God, Slipknot, Machine Head, Pantera, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Metallica. So thank you, David. Sorry we missed that last week.
Cool. And again, Deftones, I could see that. I mean, a lot of people like the Deftones. I'm really not too much of a fan, but I know that they have a big following.
Yeah, I never got into them. Like I saw.
Did I ever tell you one of the funniest things about seeing the Deftones when they opened for Anthrax? And who was the singer? Like Chino or something,
Chino
whatever
Moreno?
his name. You know how, sometimes you got those peeps that, they're wearing their pants down and you see their drawers, right?
Drawers?
Yeah, like they're boxers. They're drawers. They're boxers.
Aaron, he told me he was old.
Yeah.
Look behind him too. He's got a Davenport.
Dude. So, yeah, they're fucking drawers. Anyway, so they, his belt's hanging down by his ass so you can see his freaking boxers and shit, right? Well, his belt broke. Aaron can't even stop laughing, but his belt broke. And Chino had to do the entire set with one hand holding his pants up. and it was just hilarious.
And then everybody
And
started doing it.
It's one thing I always remember. I'm like, what a fucking moron. And another one that I remember too is that we were like at the stage, right? And they, dude, the chat room's lighting me up. So one of the things I always remember too is we're at the stage and, you know, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Chino or one of the other guys, like spit up in the air. And my wife at the time, my ex-wife now, but my wife at the time was right next to me. Dude, loogie like right in her face. Like, and it was one of those things where that was one of the memories I had. So whenever I think of Deftones, I think of the dude can't keep his pants pulled up and he spit a loogie in my wife's face. So
dudes rock.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're
dude, now you're lighting me up. Come on.
I gotta. I was gonna say there's another podcast that might knock us from the number one spot. And that is Metallica and their podcast. You've checked it out yet?
The official Metallica podcast. You know what? I don't. I have it. I've followed them. I have them all on my phone. I just haven't listened yet.
Yeah, they're really good. I like them. So they're, obviously talking about the Black Album, and the first one's just kind of takes them from their beginning and their roots up to the Black Album really quickly. And I listened to the second one today and talks a lot about the production and Bob Rock. And speaking of Bob Rock, whenever I'd hear his voice, I would always picture in my mind Milo from Airheads, Michael McKean. So his voice sounds similar, and I just picture that guy. Like, I know you think I'm a real dick cheeseburger. So I think when they make a movie, the next Metallica movie, I think Michael McKean has a star as Bob Rock. But
funny.
Yeah, so I listened to it and then hear him talk about the production, and then I listened to the Black Album again today after that. I was in the car for a while, and it's weird how I hear music now than when I first started listening to the Black Album, because I would just listen back then because I thought the songs were cool. But now as I've matured and I've been playing guitar for a while, and I hear more of like the riffs and arrangements and like more depth of the song, and I love it all over again. I love it on a whole new level now. It's great.
Yep.
That was my introduction to Metallica as well. When I was a toddler, I guess you could say, up to about 7 years old, 5 years old, we moved from Appleton out to the sticks, and then new radio station, and they were playing Metallica. They were playing Enter Sandman. And then my dad, I have no idea how he's not familiar with this, because he's an OG. He likes this stuff. But my dad turns it on, Enter Sandman, goes, "What the fuck is this?" And he cranks it. Went on a heater about a month of just Enter Sandman on the radio. And he goes out and he buys the Black Album, and he just wears it out every time he was picking me up from school and going to practice and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's crazy.
Now he listens to Slayer.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, we had Rob Carlson was saying how he's very anti-Black Album and Metallica, nothing after and Justice. And one of the things he had said was, how do you, like, he listens to albums in order and goes from last song to first song on the next. And he was saying, how do you go from Dyer's Eve to Enter Sandman? And it just pissed him off. And, he's a huge Megadeth fan. So I'm wondering how he feels about Rust in Peace going into Countdown to Extinction. Because it's somewhat parallel. You got Rust in Peace is a monumental album, and then the style's totally different on Countdown. So
I love Countdown to Extinction.
Yeah, I do too. I wonder, I got to ask him, see what he thinks of that.
Yeah, good point.
I bet he'll say something stupid.
Or at least ask him about Risk.
I think I've seen him say that he loves that.
Or Super Collider. I like Super Collider. I'm not going
to.
Yeah.
Another follow-up. This one's kind of ugly. We had a couple of members of Squid Hammer Metal on a couple of weeks ago, and their band seems to have almost literally blown up.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's we had Adam and Jake on, or I'm sorry, Adam and Jake Schultz. And, I think they're still in the band, but there's the front man kind of, I don't know, sounds like he's had a history of just being kind of dangerous and all sorts of stuff. But he apparently at a show he was throwing some kind of oil out on the crowd and then shooting fireworks at him.
That would make sense.
Lamp oil.
And, that would make sense, actually.
Literally, bass player was caught on fire.
Yeah.
Like this was not, you weren't fucking around. This was serious shit. So.
Yep. And Jake says he has the LLC for the band, and so that makes him liable for anything that happens. So he's like, last straw, you're out. And so a couple of the front man says he's going to keep playing as Squid Hammer, and I think he's got some former members. It was kind of confusing watching the post go back and forth, because I'm not sure if it's just Jake and Adam that are still the actual Squid Hammer, and then the other two members are out with the front man. I'm not exactly sure who's where, but if you're looking at their posts and stuff, it looks like there's two Squid Hammers, but there's actually only the one that Jake Schultz has, and there's just all sorts of ugliness, unfortunately. So
that makes a lot of sense. The one time I saw Squid Hammer, I had a blast, but afterwards I was talking to the front man, and he was joking around saying like, hey, you guys want to go light some fireworks off in the parking lot? I've got them here. And he was saying that on stage. And so since you say that, throwing lamp oil and shooting fireworks, and then I know I've seen a couple of videos and a couple of pictures of him with a bench grinder.
Yep.
Like just going to town on some sparks. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of their videos too, and there's it's like a big party. And even Jake was saying when he was on how the dude's a pyro, and
I guess there's always at some point you can go too far, right? So I guess I was telling Jim that, well, now they have an opening for a singer. I think Jim would fit right in.
Yeah.
I could probably do some antics, but I don't think anyone wants to hear me sing.
Dude, it'd be awesome. You'd be killer at it.
Jim, that's actually how I came across on you, was in that chat talking about Squid Hammer in Into the Tribute.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You said, where the hell are you from?
Yeah, I forget how I think I saw an ad a couple years ago for their Pantera tribute show. I was like, who are these guys? And saw they're from Wisconsin, and that's when I started following them. And I got to mention.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, looking at the chat, Bill Joya says, "Super Collider sucks Duke." I don't know if he means Super Collider sucks Duke, or if he misspelled the word. I don't know. Figure it out, Bill.
This next
Kingmaker is a good song. Super Collider is a fun song, and I don't need to explain myself anymore.
There you go.
Nice.
Hey, this next one's going to be kind of fun. We actually we really wanted to let our listeners know and encourage our listeners to leave a review. Right, let us know what you think, and we got some reviews and ratings on Apple Podcast, and we randomly chose a review to win a Thrash Report prize pack. You're going to win a sticker. You're going to win a Thrash Report t-shirt and coffee mug. And Jim, you want to go ahead and announce that winner?
That winner is Mr. PJ Camacho. Or that is his handle on our review. PJ Camacho, you're the winner.
Yeah, if you're listening, thank you. Yes, if you're listening, go ahead and send us an email, thethrashreport@gmail.com. Let us know who you are, prove who you are, and we're going to go ahead and make sure we get that shipping address and get that out to you. And we have a special surprise runner-up.
Mm-hmm.
Another review, Jim. Who's this?
Which name should we use? His real name, as he's seen in the chat room right now, or his Twitter handle of @trapeze11, Mr. Doug Gross. Congrats to you too.
Congrats Doug.
PJ too.
You're runner up. You're going to get a Thrash Report sticker and a Thrash Report t-shirt. Again, make sure you email us, thethrashreport@gmail.com. Let us know what size you are and where to ship it. And Aaron, what size t-shirt you want, buddy?
I'll take a schmedium.
A schmedium. All right. Make sure we get that, and I'll get that shipped out to you.
You guys are the best.
Very cool.
Awesome.
That just about wraps us up for the night.
Cool. Yeah. I want to, first of all, I want to thank Aaron Moody for joining us this week. Thank you so much, man. It was super fun.
That was a great time, Aaron. Thanks for coming.
This was an absolute blast. Thank you so much for having me. You guys are the greatest. I love the podcast.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate your support. And I want to thank everyone that's listening. Thank you, everyone that's in the chat room. We really do appreciate it. Remember, you can go and get archives of all of our shows and our show notes at thrashreport.com. Go ahead and let us know what you think. thethrashreport@gmail.com or any of our socials. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the Thrash Report. See ya!
And Aaron, we'll see you on the